Hi, everybody. It's DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Sunday evening, which means or afternoon. It's time for us to talk about coping with stress. And I apologize for being a couple of seconds late. The reason was, as usual, isn't it amazing? Just as I went to check in at exactly the right time, Google decided it wanted to verify that I was really who I am. What was that about coping with stress? So I breathed in deeply, knowing that you guys know that if I'm a little bit late, there's normally a good reason for it. And that was my reason for today. It wasn't that I was getting an extra cup of Java or anything. All right. So, hi there, Jeannie. Good to see you. And I hope you had a very Merry Christmas, as I hope you all did. I must admit that I have had a very nice Christmas all around so far. As I think you know, I have just, I like to extend my Christmas. So what I do is I entertain over the course of a few weeks, and just because that way I get to enjoy Christmas a little bit longer. I wonder if any of you do that as well. For those of you who are new to the broadcast, I'd like to welcome you and tell you, Dear Mama Sal is not just me. It's a group of people who get together 3 times a week normally. This week we only did one broadcast because of Christmas. But we get together and help each other cope with life in general, because it is really important for us to know that we're not the only ones struggling with feelings, with life in general, and with money issues or with stress or all these things. It's really important that we understand we're all doing it in our own way across the world. It's not just you. So I'm hoping that some of you had a white Christmas. Actually, I didn't get a picture of that, but I wonder if I can show you. When I say I didn't get a picture, I didn't print one out, but I wanted to show you anyway. Um, Let me just find it for you. Yeah. So here in southern British Columbia, I don't know if you can see this picture, but we have had that much snow already, and it's still snowing. And at the moment, as I speak to you, it is -9 degrees Celsius, which is -16 Fahrenheit at my house right now. So, how many of you going, yeah, she's not used to that? And so that's why I've got my winter sweater on. And all right. So Jeannie's saying we're doing that extending Christmas because York is frustrated that he could not see to get others gifts. Yes, so he couldn't go shopping. Yeah, and I don't think there's any, other than Jesus and so forth. You know, you can have Christmas whenever you want to. I believe Christmas is about the feeling, not about the day. And in fact, as some of you know, Yvonne and Wade will not be coming until New Year to have Christmas. And that is wonderful. We've done that for the 21 years that I've known Yvonne. It must be now. We've always done that. I leave them totally alone to do Christmas with their families, and then when they've finished, they can re-gift, they can do whatever. It's like we don't make a big thing about it. And I want to talk a little bit about presents and stuff in a second. So anyway, we've still got a snowfall warning, just so that you know. It's bitterly cold here, but I'm warm. I'm very grateful to have warm clothes, and so far, touch wood, a heating system that's working beautifully. So I'm snug as a bug in a rug, and let's hope that it stays that way. Um, we're going to be discussing our Christmas experience during this broadcast. So, I'm hoping that you've got lots of stories to tell me. But here's the thing: before I do, could somebody explain to me? Because I'm stupid. I don't understand these things sometimes. Can somebody explain to me why suddenly there are these huge lines in the US to be tested for COVID? Because, my mentality is I can go and get tested for COVID today, pass by Fred on my way back into my home, and catch it on the way back. So I'm just trying to work out, why is everybody suddenly, is it because it's available and it wasn't before? Could somebody help me on this one, because I don't quite understand it all. Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Jeannie's saying that York's daughter, that's her husband, her daughter-in-law, said that diapers are scarce. And so she's spending her Christmas money on buying diapers while she can. You know something? I think if you got any money for this Christmas, buy things that you don't want to do without. Diapers if you've got kids. Make sure you've got toilet paper and things like that. By the way, I seriously have stocked up on that stuff. I've got enough for a full season put away at the moment. Buy meat in roasts. Don't buy chops, or don't buy, buy full roasts of meat. You will be so glad that you did, because you will be saving a lot of money. By the way, I I had Doug and Jess over, and I said to Doug, what would you most like me to cook for you for Christmas? And he said ribeye steaks. And I went, okay, I didn't know I was going to have to mortgage the house to be able to buy it. I'm not joking. 4 ribeye steaks cost me close to $100. I was amazed. I don't know what it is where you live, but I mean, that really shocked me. But did I care? I mean, I'm mentioning it because I want to show you just how much the price of beef has gone up recently. But I want to tell you, they were so good. I was only going to have half. And Doug said, no, cook a whole one. And I go, no, honey, I will only eat half. He said, Sal, it's Christmas, cook a whole one. And I was sort of 3/4 of the way through it before I looked at him and said, thank you. And we're going to talk about what did you eat for Christmas in a second. So here we go. How would you rate, that's my question for you today, how would you rate your stress control overall this Christmas? And maybe we could say, was it normal? Was it as stressful as normal? Did you do better than you normally do? Or was it more stressful than ever? And if so, why? On all of those. And the reason that I'm asking that was I was absolutely stunned, and I don't mind telling you that this was without a doubt the least, so far, the least stressful Christmas I can remember. So, all right, so Jody's answering me. Holiday gatherings, this is about the COVID thing, right? Holiday gatherings and the surge of new cases from the Omicron variant has caused a surge in testing. Yes, but you understand what I'm saying here, Jody. You can go and get tested today and you can catch it on the way home. It's just like, unless you're testing every single day, I don't know that you can. Anyway, it's just my feeling. Jeannie's saying low stress because there were only 3 of us for Christmas Eve. That is something that we need to think about, all right? Why was it less stressful if it was? And I agree with you, Jeannie, that it was less stressful because we, had less people around. All right? And so so my question about this now would be, what did you do right in your view? When you look back on it now and say, what did I do right this year that made Christmas less stressful? I got a whole list of things that I did right, and nobody was more surprised than I was, because I want to tell you that the couple of days leading into Christmas, I was sitting there going, what have I forgotten? You know what I mean? It was just like, normally the 2 days before Christmas, I'm frantically, doing things, and I wasn't. And so I want to know what you did right. So I've got a little list of first of all, would you all agree the most important gift we gave ourselves was to look after ourselves well enough that we are still here this year? All right. And I want to compliment all of you who've masked up, had your vaccines, I'm going to be having my booster on Tuesday. I had to miss my first booster appointment because I was, suddenly got an ocular migraine that I couldn't drive. But that will happen on Tuesday. So all of you who have done that, I want to compliment you and So glad that you're still with us. Obviously, for some of us, we had a Christmas without loved ones. And I've got a couple of people in my life who, spent their first Christmas without somebody they loved. And obviously that was very sad. But overall, I'd like to say, well done, everybody, for surviving the year. It was a difficult year emotionally and, physically. And a lot of you did really well to look after your health and to look after your mental health in a way that had you survive the year. All right, so Jeannie's saying for her Christmas meal, she said she did a second green bean casserole. John loves it. John's her son, I think, or son-in-law. Anyway, she'll let me know. Defrosted sausage stuffing and cooked in the oven with 2 Cornish hens. It was an easy meal. Yes. Now, that's funny you should mention an easier meal. I went to Christmas Eve with my neighbor, and they did a meal that was just amazing. They did a chili with freshly baked buns, and I did a salad. I took over a big salad, and I want to tell you something. It really reminded me that Christmas is about people. It's not about the food. Well, I want to tell you, the food was amazing. That chili was amazing, and they didn't put any garlic in it. But I do want to say that part of my joy was putting together. They said, just bring a salad. Do you want to see what I took? So here's what I took, my salad. Right, so it had raspberries down the center, and then a layer of marshmallows because it's Christmas. And then it had tomatoes, and on the one side, on this side it had romaine lettuce, on this side it had butter lettuce. And then in my muffin trays, you see these red muffin trays on either side, I had all sorts of different things that you could add to your salad. I had mandarins, I had carrot, I had nuts, I had celery, cucumber, cranberries. All right. So, and then, thank you for the note about the presentation. I took with me 2 hearth garlands to put around it. Well, I want to tell you, it was such a big hit, and it really didn't take me that long. But, from the way that people reacted to it, I went, it was worth the trouble I took. So I thought I'd share it with you. Martha Stewart, I'm not, but, it was just like, they said, bring a salad. I did. And the question is, how much did I have left over? There were 8 of us. I had enough for 1 salad last night left over. Now, I've got a lot more of the trimmings left over, but I expected that. But it was, I thought I'd share that with you because it really gave me great joy. So thank you. So what did you have for Christmas to eat? Let's hear, we heard that Jeannie did the Cornish hens. I went and had chili. By the way, I really recommend that. You can cook it all day long. And it was, those fresh buns were hollow inside. So when you opened them up, you could hack the chili inside. And it was just like, oh, it was so good. I couldn't believe how much I actually had, quite honestly. But it really, we had crackers, and it really reminded me that it's not about doing the turkey. All right. It really isn't. We need to get away from the turkey thing, or at least get, a deboned roll or something that's easy to slice up and whatever. It is about the people. Oh my gosh, we laughed. How much did you laugh over Christmas? And we laughed because, we're really wicked. Our sense of humor is really wicked. But after dinner, we went outside, freezing as it is. We went outside and sat around a couple of fire pits, gas fire pits, Not for marshmallows, no. We had carols. Betty Ann plays the accordion, the pump box thing. How she does that, I will never know when it's so cold. And we we sang carols and Christmas songs badly. And I want to tell you, there was something about the fact we were so bad that made it so entertaining for me. Do any of you relate to that? It was just like I kept apologizing for the choir. Betty Ann did a wonderful job, but the rest of us, we sucked big time. But we enjoyed it, and it was just such fun. And then after dinner, before we went out to sing carols, we had crackers, but they had what do you call it? Charade type topics. And we kept them all. And before we went outside to do the carols, we played charades or charades. Depends which country you're in. They're two completely different ways of saying that word. So I just want to make sure we cover the European version. So charades or charades. And it was hysterical. It turned off that a couple of us were really good at it. You notice a couple of us. So that was good. So let me see what's being said here. Jody's saying Chinese food on Christmas Eve and day, but we're doing seafood tonight and cooking the prime rib tomorrow. Yeah, it took a little longer to defrost than you thought, Jody. But what I love is the fact that you can see the humor in that, right? And it's just like, next year, let me bring that out to defrost a little earlier. Or, Jody, did you check Mr. Google to find out how long it would take to defrost a roast that big? All right, so Jody's saying the more off-key the carols are, the better. Yes, I agree. Jeannie's saying, I ordered a burnt apple spice cake. We all found it was nice and moist, but tasted neither of apple nor of spice. Happily, we had checkerboard ganache cake, which was good. I want to tell you something. We also had spice cake, Jeannie. Funny you should mention that. We had spice cake, and it was so good. And I really recommend that. So it's nice to hear about that as well. Yeah, Jody's saying, and she took that roast out on Wednesday morning, thinking it would be defrosted by Christmas Day. Yeah. And well, you learned what not to do next year, right, Jody? But you are so going to enjoy it. Really. And it was going to be much less stress not to cook the prime rib. I hope you're still laughing. I would be. All right, so let me think about something else. So overall, I would say my Christmas went a lot better than normal. I mean, much, much better. Christmas cards. I was really glad that I was so anal about getting those Christmas cards out early. I didn't hear from everybody, but the people I did hear from absolutely loved the cards. And I've got to say that. They not only love the fact that they got a card, because we do so much electronically now, but they really appreciated what obviously took a lot of time. And so for me, that was well worth it. I was very, very happy about that. And I think they all got through, but I'm not 100% sure. One of the things that I did for myself, which I know you're going to laugh at me, I bought all the stuff to make cookies this year. I got extra butter. I got, a big 10-pound bag of flour and extra sugar, all those sort of things. But guess what? I didn't cook cookies. I didn't bake cookies this year. And I did it for myself because I know when I bake them, I eat them. And I decided at the last minute, I'm actually not going to bake them and see what a difference it makes to my weight. That I enjoy the Christmas meal. I didn't hold back on the Christmas meal at all. When Dougie came with Jess and Damien, We had the prime. I'm looking at the dining room table because I got to imagine what we had. We had prime rib and salad, but in case anybody wanted it, I did half-baked potatoes in case anybody wanted it. And just bought a peach cobbler dessert made from gluten-free topping. It was really nice, and I've had that before from her, and I really enjoy it. So, we didn't have a whole lot of nasty stuff, but I did weigh myself today when I was getting dressed, and I found out that I have put on weight. I put on half the weight I normally do. So I've thoroughly enjoyed the food I've been having. So you're probably wondering, what am I going to do with all the Christmas baking stuff that I bought? And I was thinking, how many of you would like me to do, some Christmas cookies, during the year, so that we can, think about which ones we would like to do for next year? Yeah, Jeannie's saying I made 2 kinds of cookies and gave most away. Yes. I mean, I know that would be my intent to give most away, but I didn't. You know what I did though? I must say this, that on Christmas morning, we had this white Christmas. Did I show you that picture? Yeah. Right. We had this white Christmas, but if you can imagine, hang on a second. I actually trudged through the snow to go deliver cards to my neighbors on Christmas morning. And if I'd done it Christmas Eve, I wouldn't have had to trudge through the snow. But there was something about the fact that I did that made it very special for people. Because as I gave them the card and wished them Merry Christmas, they said, "Did you come out in this snow just to deliver me a Christmas card?" And I went, "Yeah, Merry Christmas." And, you could tell that they really appreciated the effort. And they said, it would have been fine after the snow. And I said, no, it wouldn't. Merry Christmas. And I was really glad that I made the effort. Hi, Nasha. I saw that you came in earlier. So I believe you got a new phone, so congratulations on that. All right. So Merry Christmas to you, and I hope you have a wonderful meal. All right. Now then, I wanted to talk a little bit about, did any of you have children at your Christmas meal? I had young Damien come for Christmas for the first time. And I want to tell you, I don't know how old he is, actually. My sense is about 6 or 7, somewhere in that age. And I really worked hard to make this enjoyable for him. So, for example, while we were having little bitties, to eat while we were cooking the steaks, I took him aside and said, have you ever played on a Wii? Do you know what it is? And he went, no. I said, okay. And so I had it all set up for him, and I had 2 different discs. But I got the first disc. I taught him how to put the first disc in. And I was trying to show him the different options he had, but he hit on the first game and he liked the look of that. So he stayed there. And then I said, okay, fine. Now here's the thing. While the adults are boring, while we're being boring, I want to see how you do. So I'm going to watch you do it the first time, and then I'll come back in a little while, see how you've improved. And I wanted to make sure he knew how to use everything. So the first round, I don't think he got a point, quite honestly, maybe 1. And he was so excited to get the 1. That was it, actually. He did get 1. And then I said, okay, fine. So now we know this is what you do without any practice. So in a minute, I'm coming back to see how you're doing. By the time we were ready to eat dinner, I went back and I went, okay, Damien, let me see. How are you doing? He was beating the opponent left, right, and center. Now you imagine how much fun he had doing that. All right. And so it was just, you could hear it, you could just feel his joy at how much he had done and how much he enjoyed doing it. And then after dinner, I got all of us bowling. And, I must admit, the adults weren't too keen to start with, but then it became incredibly competitive. And, Damien and I were on one team, but you could tell he was enjoying it so much. I just kept letting him bowl because he was good. He didn't know he was going to be good, but it turned out he was naturally good. And so I just let him have my turn each time. And I was so happy that I did. So let me see what the comments are here. Jeannie is saying, we have a Russian neighbor who was so very kind to me while our home was being rebuilt. She had a big fire in her home and it destroyed it totally. She came by with her 2 daughters and gave us some homemade cookies. I couldn't eat most because they had nuts, but I tried. Isn't that kind of her? It's the thought, right? And did you let her know for next year? Sorry, it had no nuts, just cranberries and the taste of orange. Remember, we made those cranberry orange ones? Very nice, I think, for Christmas. Most people can eat those. Yeah, good idea. So now then, anyway, I just want to tell you that when we did the bowling after dinner, it really was quite surprising how competitive it became. And it turned out those 2 adults that weren't particularly keen to start with it. By the end of the bowling, Jess had already been on Marketplace to find out where they could get a unit. How about that? They enjoyed it that much and could see that it was really good for the family to get together. So really happy. And I don't know if you can see this, I got this bracelet that Damien made for me with the word hope on it, and I haven't taken it off since. But it was just the look on his face that made it. And I've never had children, as you know. I inherit other people's, but it just made it so fun. It really did. And the best part of all, I with tears in my eyes, the best part of all, as they were going to leave, he looked at Mommy and said, "Can I come back tomorrow?" And I just that was that made my evening, obviously. So yeah, pathetic, right? And what presents did you get, people, that you would care to share? Obviously, I got the bracelet, but I also wanted to show you what I got from the neighbors. Can you see my feet? And they are tartan sock shoes. What do you call those? You know what I mean? They've got rubber underneath them. Those rubber dots all underneath them so that I don't slip. But isn't that nice? Yes, perfect. I'm a happy little camper. It doesn't take much to please me, does it? And that's over and above gifts that I got. Somebody very kindly sent me a gift certificate for food, which I thought was really nice. And somebody else sent me some money to treat myself with and all sorts of things. So I am really slipper socks. That's what they're called. Thank you, Jody. I knew you would know it. But anyway, I really am very, very grateful to you all for everything that you did. And I have not been to the post box. So if you sent me a card and I haven't thanked you, please forgive me. As soon as the snow stops, I will go to the box and see what's in there, and then we'll do those. It's my extended Christmas, remember? We'll do that. Now, the other thing I did really right. Some of you know that I have filled my house with different sorts of motion detectors. So I've got this sort of strip light, which if it goes dark, if it's a motion sensor. Hang on a second. Okay, so as I walk past it, or as I get close, walk towards it, it'll turn on. And I've got this sort throughout my house, so that as I walk, they turn on. I don't ever have to turn a light on to go to the washroom, right? Because these lead my way. I bought myself another one of two of these. In fact, these are big motion detectors. And I'm going to put two of these under my house because Mickey and Minnie, I believe, are going to want to go live in my place over the winter, especially now it's this cold. So I want to deter them a little bit. So instead of putting things in to kill them, I'm going to put motion detectors in there because I found that they really don't like motion when the lights suddenly come on. And so that's what I'm going to be doing rather than killing them. They have as much right to be on this earth as we do, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, that's interesting. Jodi's saying that she received a grocery gift card and gingerbread truffles. Isn't that lovely? And Jeannie's saying, Chelsea made me a soy candle. Yes. And we also got a sign that said, so glad to be back home. Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah. And it is so nice that you managed to be back home. So I am glad. Did any of you buy yourself any fun gifts for Christmas? Now, you all know I bought the air fryer, and I'm still waiting to exchange it. Apparently, FedEx came to collect it, and I didn't hear them. Very sad. So I've asked for them to come tomorrow. They may or may not. I'm not sure if tomorrow is a working day for FedEx people. But, the problem is that I am hard of hearing. And if I'm in the washroom at the other end of the house, I can't hear the doorbell. So I guess they must have come when I was in the washroom, but so be it. Very sad. So I am getting I'm getting the one that I had replaced because, as you know, it cooked really great food until it didn't work anymore. However, if I have another problem with it, I obviously won't be repeating it a third time. So such is it. Did any of you do anything wrong this Christmas? Anything that you said? Jodi obviously learned the lesson about I need to pull out a big roast of meat a lot sooner than I thought I did. I found out that deciding to make beef jerky for my my friends, particularly my male friends, was not a good idea. It isn't that it was that I didn't do it. I did it, and it tasted so good. None of it ever got into packages. I'm not joking. Each time I made it, by the time that evening was finished, I had finished the beef jerky. So I am going to have to make so much that I can quality control it and still have leftover. So that's, it's on the list for next year. I found that I didn't overbuy too much this year either. I bought a lot of little things all during the year rather than, big presents for people. I bought, and that's the question that I asked people. Do you prefer getting lots of little things or do you prefer one present? And, a lot of people really enjoyed getting lots of little things. And I made, my theme this year, as some of you know, was gifts that keep on giving. So I had little gifts, like I had got pieces of cedar wood and infused them with cedar oil, to keep the moths out of their clothes. I had all sorts of stuff. I'm trying to think what I wanted to show you. Oh, I know what. Hang on. No, I've already put it away. But what I did is I made Christmas scenes with my die cutting machine, backed with, sparkly paper, and put them in nice frames so that, during the year they could use it as a photo frame, but at Christmas time, they could take the photo and put it at the back and have the Christmas decoration. The most peculiar thing, everybody said, oh, no, I'm not going to take that apart. That's staying as a Christmas decoration. Interesting, right? Jeannie's saying, I always looking for my keys, so I bought a set of 3 items that attach to my purse and my keys. Always find my keys now. interesting. Let me show you what I do. I'm glad you mentioned that. I have a purse. Oh, this just says that I'm vaccinated, but I have a purse that carries obviously my credit cards and also my phone. All right, so if I'm out, I can just drop my phone in the back here. And as you notice, I've always got a mask there as well. So that's the first, very useful. I attach to it my hand sanitizer. And then I've got this long string, Jeannie, and those are my postbox keys on there. And at the other end, I've got my car keys and things. This is one of those special things where you can break the window of your car if you need to. And then here is one of those things, it's a bag inside. Have you all seen those? Hang on. And I want to tell you, it's amazing how many times, you know, when I'm going, I don't have quite enough bags, but I don't want to take plastic or something. So you'd sort of take it out of itself like this. Okay, and then you've got a carry bag. But I always have it with me, right? Because when you're finished with it, interesting to see the different color of it, actually. Looks like it needs to go in the wash. But when you're finished with it, you just stuff it back into itself. If I can find the opening here. Like this, you just, you know, the opening was at the top, so all right, you just stuff it back in. Like that, and close it up. And now, but I always have it with my keys. So, Jeannie, I wanted to, oh, by the way, the reason why I like this is while I'm shopping, I just hang it around my neck like this. And therefore, I've got everything I need. And if I'm somewhere where I'm really concerned, I actually will connect one onto the other. So if anybody tries to steal it, they have to take me with them. Okay, so I learned that a long time ago. I've done that for years. Just keep them all together. Of course, if I lose one, I lose the lot. All right, so, okay, Jeannie is saying, this is an interesting thing. Jeannie is saying, I enjoyed giving made soups with bubble bath, not in the soup. Okay. I wanted to say that I think anytime you make what I call homemade soups, or if you buy homemade soups, I guess, or local soups, you know, I'm really appreciative of the, you know, stuff like that. And by the way, one thing I wanted to mention, Jeannie, and I didn't, is that, do I have it here or in the, no, I still got it in the pantry, but one of the things that Jeannie sent me from Maine was a raisin type bread in a can. And I haven't eaten it because that is, you know, the perfect thing for me to open up one day if we have a power failure for a long time. And I've kept it, you know, in my pantry as my emergency, it's part of my emergency kit. Thank you very much for sending me that, by the way. So the only thing I could think of that I did wrong this year was the beef jerky. I really failed that one big time. And I guess I didn't realize how good beef jerky tastes, especially if you chop it up into small pieces. I had to say how grateful I was. I have a snow elf in the neighborhood. Biddy Ann's son-in-law is a nice human being. Mind you, their daughter's very nice as well. I want to make sure you know that. But every day that it's been snowing, he pops over to clear my driveway for me. I call him the snow elf. And in fact, the first day, it was the funniest thing because, you know, the snow really came down. And I looked at it and I thought, I need to go out there and clear my driveway, because if that freezes over, it's going to be, we're getting more snow and it's just going to keep piling on top of each other. So I need to go out there and get rid of it. And so guess what? I went and got on my warm clothes, and I got my parka out, and I got my gloves on, and I got everything, my Ugg boots that I clear snow in, and all those sort of things. Opened the door. Actually, no, I was going to put my work boots on. That's right. Anyway, I opened the door to go and put my work boots on, and I'm going, my driveway was cleared, and I'm going, what? I thought I was dreaming it. Can you imagine that? 1 minute I looked at it and it was lots of snow. Went and put all the clothes on, opened the door, looked outside, and it was clear. And I'm going, then you think, who would do that? And I knew who would do that. So I immediately sent a quick text over to thank the snow elf, who, by the way, came again the next day and did it when I missed him as well. And today I heard the sound. I heard the sound of snow being moved. And I rushed out and I said, gotcha. Today I get to thank you personally. All right, Jody's saying, what did I do wrong? Planning on making spritz cookies and then forgetting to buy the cookie press. Yeah, I've got the cookie press. I can't find all the bits that go with it. I have no idea where they are. They must still be in the back room somewhere. Yeah, I agree. It wasn't from the car. My car is in the carport and still has snow on it, I might add. What he did is he removed the snow from the whole of my driveway 3 days in a row. So kind. It's like, I said to him today, please don't go home soon. Stay a while. And I said, for as long as the snow is going to be. I'm so selfish, aren't I? So yeah, Jeannie's saying we had no one to shovel. No, exactly. But I normally don't either, Jeannie. And the trick is just to, and Jeannie's saying she did a bit. Yeah, the trick is not to overdo it. And preferably only do the half you need to get a car out in an emergency. And the half that if you've got people delivering to you that they can't say you didn't clear the driveway. I personally think there are times when the snow is better than a half-cleared driveway, if you know what I mean, because then it starts to melt, and then that unless you've got an angle. Luckily, my driveway has quite a dip to it, so the water does run off it. But for a lot of people, that's how it ices up. So I don't look at it. Actually, I must admit, when I do it, I don't look at it as a chore. I look at it as, okay, it is time for my exercise for the day. And that's how I see it. I try not to think of it as a chore. And I also do not lift it. All right. I admire people that can. I don't lift it. I just move it to one side, the side I don't use, and leave it there and let, God sort out the melting process. Yes. And, Jeannie, that I did see that. Jeannie's saying she's having trouble with her left arm, but she did it anyway. York fell down the 2 back steps yesterday and ached today. Yes, I'm sure. He had that second eye surgery just before Christmas. So, do what you can. And by the way, maybe the trick is to buy some ice and just, throw that down. The main thing is, can you get a car out if you need to? If you've got an emergency and you need to get a car out, can you do that? And I know that we here in southern British Columbia don't really have snow the way that you guys do in Maine. You know, we declare a snow day when it's 2 inches deep. But we have actually they did warn us it could be up to a foot. Which for us would be impossible. That was shut down the whole town day. And a foot of snow for us. No, yeah, we don't do that normally. So much for climate warming. So here's the question. From your experience this year, what would you change ready for next year? Right? Or what do you go, okay, I did that really so well this year. I'm going to make sure I do that again. I have to say that I am still suffering from shock. I do say, because I really, and I still have presents to give, but I really did do it much better than I thought I did. That is, so therefore, it was amazing that on Christmas Eve, I literally said, I need to make a salad today. The presents, the cards were ready, the presents were ready. By the way, I wrapped all my cards with that packing paper, the white packing paper that they packed up my house after my fire, and they had all this beautiful white packing paper. I did all my presents. I wrapped them in that, and it was just like, I am fed up with filling up the landfill with Christmas paper that, quite honestly, I don't know why. I must be getting really different. It's very pretty, but I use pretty ribbon and stuff for people, but I didn't do that. By the way, when I took cards, I also took some rosemary infused oil. You remember we made that? And I didn't put them in these bottles, but I did it in other bottles. But that was a big hit. People really like that as well, because who doesn't use oil, a little bit of oil, to cook with? So I was really glad that I did that. That definitely, I think, gifts that people can use. I made the, I said, gifts that keep on giving. So think about that. I tried to think what I would do differently. Oh, there was another thing I did. Before Christmas, I bought myself some presents, as you know. But one of the things that I bought was, 4 of these. And here's what my thinking. I've already started filling the one up with Christmas stuff that I didn't use but was in the back room. So I've got one of them that I've got Christmas stuff in, and then I will fill it up. And then when Dougie next comes to visit me, he can put it under the house for me. I've got another one that I know this is hard to believe, but I have managed to fill over half of one with all my electronic stuff. All my wires, all my tripods, all my whatever. Old hard drives. It's already about half full, and I know I've got a lot more to go in there, because I decided I hate to throw those things away, but I don't want all those boxes. So I'm going to sort of fill it up, and then I'm going to probably keep it in the house. But what I will do is keep a couple of them in the house, but cover them with some nice material, turn them into a sort of side table or something in my spare room. Okay, because they're pretty good for that. But I decided that's it. I am not going to do 101 boxes where you don't know what's in what. This way I can see what's in there and I can get to it pretty easily just by shuffling around. So I bought 4. And I'm going to make sure that even if it goes under the house, that it's not so heavy that I can't pull it out again. Even if I can't lift it easily, that I can at least open it, dig through it, take out what I need, and then push it back under the house again. Oh, interesting. Jeannie's saying, I bought no Christmas cards. I just used what was sent to me from different organizations. Yes, that is something. I think I've got a collection of those. What I'm busy doing, Jeannie, is I am busy boxing up. Oh, one of my totes, by the way, I'm throwing in all my extra kitchen stuff. And if I'm really good, I'm going to sort through it and then halve it and give it away to, the organizations that help immigrants come into the country. So that's what I'm doing. When I have my sort of seasonal, let me get rid of clothes, I will throw those in as well and just do a thing and say, hey, here you go. Those bras that you tried on and didn't fit properly and you didn't like? Yeah, why not? So I'm trying to work hard at downsizing as I go this year. And what else did I get? I'm trying to think what else I got. I'm waiting for my main present, other than my air fryer. What I bought was an emergency power source, and it's hopefully will arrive next week. And that has enough power to run to charge up my laptop a couple of times if I need it to. It has enough power in it to charge up my phone multiple times if I need it to. It has a socket in it so that I can actually run my Wi-Fi off it. I've got to do an experiment on to see how that works. Obviously, I'll do it while there is stuff. But the other thing that some of you might think about is that I can run my CPAP machine. That's my machine that helps me breathe at night. I can run that off there. But, the thing is to keep it plugged in all the time so that if there is a power failure, it will automatically switch in. And apparently it will run my CPAC for quite a while. So I didn't see that as a luxury with the amount of power failures that we get here. I saw that as something that I really do need. I feel safer for knowing that I have it. Now, I did have enough emergency stuff on hand when we had the 10-hour blackout. I was really pleased with what I did. And one of the things that I've just got to keep reminding you guys, and actually, I really want you to do a broadcast of the things that I bought this year that I don't regret at all. And this is one of them, in case anybody watches this that hasn't seen this. Okay, this is a light bulb that you can just have in your regular light socket, whatever, your lamp overhead, whatever. Keep it there the whole time. Here's the thing. When there's a power outage, you have this little gizmo that I suggest you hang close to it. So when there's a power outage, you unscrew this from the place where it was, and then you screw it into this. And it has a really bright light to it, right? When we had the blackout for 10 hours and it started to get dark, I just smiled. Why? I knew I had 3 of these, right? And I have a note in my follow-up system to charge them every couple of months, fully charge them, all right? Now, because it's winter and the likelihood of power failures are greater, I think I'm going to keep recharging them. I just keep this set close to where I sit at night, and then every night just keep rotating them. So I know if ever there is a power failure, I've got 3 fully charged lights. Yeah, Jody's saying, that's peace of mind too. Very much so. And I did give a couple out prior to Christmas to my friends and said, hey, if there's a power, there's going to be a power outage. This is what I wanted to give you. It's part of your Christmas present. So I'm pretty certain that if there is a power outage at their house, they will appreciate that. I think my neighbors I gave one to, Doug I gave one to, Yvonne I gave one to as well. So yeah, and I've got 3 left, that's right. So I think I paid about $30 for 6. I want to tell you, nothing wrong with that at all. Jeannie bought, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a new topic as well. What did you buy your pets? For those of you who've got pets. Jeannie's saying she bought Misty, her Wheaton Terrier, she bought Misty a new blanket to go in her kennel for bedtime. So soft. Now, I'm pretty certain that one very spoiled dog, fluffy white, cotton ball, that lives in New Hampshire probably got all sorts of presents. So let's hear it, Jody. What did Taylor get for Christmas? And anybody else that happens to be reading this or listening to this later, what did you buy your pets for Christmas? Pet owners, and as a previous pet owner, I know that Bean, Bud originally, and then Bean, they got the most incredible presents. And I used to let them find them because, I always had some sort of good smelling treat for them, and they knew exactly where they were. I would just say, go get your present. And you and I go, yeah, you're right, that's yours. Dogs are so clever, really. So I was very, very happy about that. And so I'm still waiting to hear what presents did you get that you really enjoyed. So Taylor got a bag of 40 chew sticks from Santa, and there's a new toy on the way as well. You see? And I'm not surprised. And what I'm surprised to see is nobody bought. Am I the only one that bought stuff for myself? I mean, I don't mind if I am, but it does surprise me. I'm trying to think what else. I got something else, didn't I? Yeah. I must admit that because I got all the presents for everybody else all during the year, I actually, that's another topic. How far in debt did you go for Christmas? I must admit that power thing that I bought was pretty expensive. So that put me in, a little bit of debt. But what I did is I managed to find that I had some extra money in a certain account, and I'm about to pay that off right now. So I'm not holding it on my credit card. Okay, so Janie's saying Misty also got an ultrasound. That's right. They were concerned that she might have colon cancer, so thank goodness she doesn't. Yeah, that's a big Christmas present, isn't it? And Jody's saying Lionel surprised me with a few mugs and a canister from Ray Dunn. Oh, that's great. I'm collecting her holiday mugs. Well, there you go. That's good to hear, right? And I forgot to mention Lauren in Tasmania every year sends Jody and I a stage ticket that you can watch online for a carol singing thing. And I must admit that even though it was the night that Doug and Jess were coming, I had it playing as they arrived because I wanted to. You know what I mean? It was just like I didn't want to miss it. And even though they had arrived, and normally I would turn that off, I just let it run because I wanted to hear those carols. I always enjoy that. Um, yes, Jody, I agree with you. Jody's saying no debt for Christmas. It was excuse me. Mm. I'll try that again. Hang on. It was a lean year, but a very happy Christmas. Yes. As I said, the only thing that I sort of went into debt on was getting the power pack. Everything else was already paid off. So I was very happy with it. And the power thing, I did, as I said, I transfer the money into my account today so that I can pay it off this, later this evening. So I was pretty happy. And we will go back to our usual broadcast this weekend. Let me think. Yeah, Friday I'm good. Saturday I've got Yvonne and Wade. And that was so cute. I thought that was so cute. Yvonne and Wade are coming for dinner on Saturday. And what made me smile was that Wade wrote to me and said he wondered if he could have a special request for roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, and all the trimmings because they have missed those home cooked meals so much. Since I've been gone. For those of you who don't know, Yvonne and Wade were my tenants for 20 years. And then obviously when I sold the house with them in it. And apparently the new landlords don't do the same. I used to cook them a roast every Sunday for 20 years. I cooked them Sunday roast, family dinner. And what amazed me was for 20 years, they came up and had family dinner almost without fail. And, in the summer we'd have family barbecue, but, we always got together on a Sunday evening. And so Wade's saying that he's really missing the roast. So when he came last time, I cooked him roast lamb because he loves lamb. But now he's saying they really would still like to have the roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. But I thought it was so cute because he said, and if I need, and I'll gladly pay for the beef if necessary. I thought that was very considerate of him, but I said, no, it would be my pleasure. And I spoil them more than anybody, because they've always been my sort of immediate family, if you like, for me. And I have got also, and it's also Yvonne's birthday yesterday. So I always say that she keeps very good company, right? And so I have to buy her twice as much as I buy anybody else because it's also her birthday. And then I also try about July to let her have a birthday present in July. Because I don't know about you, but there's part of me that goes, it must be so difficult having your birthday on Christmas Day. I'm certain you lose out that way. All right, so Jeannie's saying she bought 2 pairs of woolen socks for York, John, and Seth. Yeah, and she said she got them at a great sale, regularly $20 each. Yeah, so that would be the next thing. Did you get any really good deals over Christmas? Jody did something really smart. There's a new box type store that opened up in her area, and Jody, how much was it to join? $50 or something? But the price of everything is so much better than anywhere else. And she has already paid for it, if you know what I mean, in savings. And so that's very exciting. So that to me wasn't a luxury. That was very smart purchasing for the whole year, right? I think one thing that I'm glad I did was that my sister and I were about to send each other Christmas presents, and then I realized she kept talking about getting BritBox, on streaming service. And then I thought, that's perfect. So I wrote to her and I said, hey, how about this? You buy BritBox for you for the year as my Christmas present to you, and I will buy it here for me as your Christmas present to me. And by the way, I have so enjoyed it. Right? So I'm really glad we did that. All right. So Jody's saying it's normally $55 a year, but the holiday deal was join up for $25. So you're going to get savings all year for spending $25. It's already paid for itself in savings. That's what I thought you said. So to me, that is not a waste of money. That is a present you gave yourself for the whole year, right? As I was saying, getting BritBox for me is a present I give myself for the whole year. So I'm very excited about that. Now, I was going to ask a favor of you, for those of you who are regular watchers or not. What I wanted to know was I want to do a broadcast of your favorite hacks. We've done a lot of hacks over the years, but I thought we would do one where we have everybody's favorite hacks that they've learned from watching Dear Mama Sal. Which ones did you hear about? Which ones did you try? Which ones do you go, gosh, I'm so glad I did that? I'm still amazed, for example, that that one video I did a long time ago, about washing your Swiffer dusters, still gets so many views. That really is amazing to me. But it's one of those things where nobody thought to do it, or the people who wanted to wash them threw them in the washing machine and ruined them. And that little hack that I had, I want to tell you, I still am using. I know it's difficult to believe. I am still using those same Swiffer dusters all these years later. Pretty amazing, right? So what I wanted to do was get you to write to me, if you would, and let me know what are your favorite hacks that you've seen on Dear Mama Sal, and then I'll make sure that we sort of add them in. I know what I'm busy at the moment, sort of thinking about what are my favorites, because there are a couple of things that I came up with that I'm going, something, I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't come up with it. Oh, Jody's saying, I can write the book with the hacks that I've learned from you. My sentimental favorite is the popcorn kernel remover. Okay, you're right, Jody. Can you just make a note so I add that in? Yeah, that used to drive me so insane because I'm not good with popcorn. Right? Yeah, that's your emotional favorite, but certainly let me have a couple that you enjoy so that I can make a list. And I'm trying to get one together because I thought it would be a fun thing to do sort of around New Year. And and I'm very it's funny the things that I do without even thinking, and every now and then I think to myself, I really should mention that on a broadcast. Because I have, just so you know, we talked about these motion detectors. I have them in my cupboards. If I open up a cupboard, a light comes on automatically. All those, it's just like, how did I live without those? I don't know. So, I have had fun creating those, I must admit. And what, funny enough, one of the things is how I keep the tea towels from falling off there. All right. All right. I've got that rubber stuff that you line drawers with and a couple of magnets on it. And then my tea towels stay pretty put. I'm happy with it. Hi, Nyasha. Welcome back. I hope you had a nice meal. So I am aware that this was a strange Christmas. But if we go back to where we started, aren't we lucky that we are still all here and together and still able to laugh and talk about it? And so, as I sort of go through this week, um, I'm making a point to touch base with a lot of my friends and just have a little, general chit chat with them, and let them know how glad I am that they're in my life. And I really want to just remind you all that if you are feeling a little lonely, it is up to us to change that, right? It is up to us to get more people in our lives. They're not going to be waiting outside the door. We need to do things that will help us not be lonely. I have made it a point that I am going to at least once a month invite somebody to dinner. Probably, at least once a month that I will invite somebody, some people, not just one person, some people for dinner. And I'm going to start remembering the people that I used to invite a long time ago and start reconnecting with them. Because I don't think that COVID has done a good job in helping us stay connected. All right. We have disconnected because of it. And I found that on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve when we got together, I was talking to people about how did they feel about the new, variant, the Omni variant. And people were saying, well, it's so infectious and it's just, I said, I actually, I'm not worried about it. I know that might sound strange, but I am not worried about it. When I say I'm not worried about it, I am fully vaccinated, or I'll be boosted on Tuesday, but I am fully vaccinated and it's a flu. It's another flu. If I am fully vaccinated and boosted, the chances are it's not going to cause me any harm. So, you look at it and go, I'm not going to live in fear of that. I'm not going to, stop. You can't tell, whether, and if somebody has got it, if it's that infectious, we're all going to get it soon. All right. But it's not the one that's likely to kill you. Right. So don't live scared on that one, is my view. Nyasha's saying Christmas wasn't a good day for me. Too many deaths all around. I'm sorry to hear that, Nyasha. I know that living in Trinidad and Tobago, the chances are you have a whole different set of situations going on that we don't in North America. And, I just want to know, Nyasha, are you guys vaccinated yet? And if so, how many vaccinations have you had? And that's interesting to me, whether, a country as small as Trinidad and Tobago, or the islands, actually have got that protocol in place. And also, you look at it and go, who knows what the next one will be, whether it's going to be worse or not. I just encourage you all, if we all want to be together again next year, to don't get sloppy now. All right, wear your masks whenever you go out. Make sure you sanitize your hands. That's why I carry my sanitizer with me all the time, right? And before I touch a cart if I go into a place where there's a cart that I need to use, I will personally sanitize that cart before I use it. Anywhere that I'm likely to touch. And then as soon as I've loaded the car, I re-sanitize myself before I touch my steering wheel, things like that. Yes, and Jeannie's saying the Omicron is not strong, experts say. The vaccines and boosters should help a bit. Yes, I don't think it's, quite honestly, Jeannie, I think it's just like getting the regular flu, right? All right, Jody's saying New Hampshire has a very high rate of new cases. Yes, I heard that, Jody, one of the highest in the States. I heard that. But you do have a university there as well, so that, obviously adds to it. Nyasha's saying, yes, but it's very severe. Our household is vaccinated. We all have had full shots, 2 now, getting boosters. All right, her mom and dad have already had boosters, and now she's waiting for hers. All right, so you understand that most of the deaths that are happening, from what I understand, are from people who aren't vaccinated at all. And so I know it's sad, but people make choices, right? People make choices to be vaccinated or not. And, we will lose more people, a lot more people. And what I find really interesting is that there is a big backlash. I don't know if any of you have heard about this, and it must be so difficult for the doctors. But there are people coming to hospital who are not vaccinated, who've got the, original COVID, the bad one, and demanding hydrochlorine. What was it called? Hydroxychloroquine? Somebody will know the right word for that. Because they heard a certain person say that was effective, and they're demanding to take it. And of course, the doctors won't give it because there is no evidence whatsoever that it actually helps. The interesting thing will now be whether the new Pfizer pill, does help as much as they say it does for people who have got it. If you can get that pill early enough, that it will help save your life. So, I think we'll see a lot more of these advancements come up during the year. I hope I'm correct. Something tells me that in a way, the worst of for those of us who are fully vaccinated, the worst for us is over if we continue to be careful, if we continue to wash our hands, if we continue to, mask up and all those sort of things, then sure, we might get sick, but this is not a death thing for us anymore. Except maybe, Jody, I don't know what the facts are about those people who are immune compromised. I would think you have to be, and I know you are, and a couple other of our viewers are, I would think you have to be triply cautious, not doubly, but triply cautious, right? And it must be quite scary for you to go outside at all for anything. And I found it interesting. I was talking to my one son that lives in Toronto, and he said to me, "Do I have my puffer?" Because I said to him I'd been wheezing a bit, and I said, "No, actually, my puffer was something that went with the fire, And he said, "You do know that you can just get onto. I don't even have to phone my doctor. I can actually just get onto, they have a thing called telehealth now here in Canada. And I can just get on there, and if I start to wheeze or whatever, and just say to them, look, I had a fire, my puffer, was destroyed. I need a puffer urgently, and they will prescribe it back to me. I didn't know that. Yeah, Jodie's saying, yes, she's being very cautious. It's daunting to go out there. We're as careful as we can be. Okay. Nyasha, for some reason, one of the moderators has not let your last couple of comments come through. I just need you to know that in case it's not telling you. I'm not sure what the reason is. I'm certain I will find out. But just whatever it was, they didn't think it was suitable. Oh, Jody's saying you can post again in 5 minutes. That was an error. Okay, so you were all right, Jeannie. I don't know how you did it, but somehow you timed Nyasha out by accident. So apologies, Nyasha. Don't take it personally, please. Just wait a couple of minutes. Actually, we're about to close the broadcast, but just know it wasn't something you did. Yeah. So, it was a mistake, and we all make them. So, Nyasha, we love you dearly, honey. Big hugs. You and your new phone are more than welcome back. Um, you know, you can imagine how poor Jeannie feels right now. So, on behalf of Nyasha, I forgive you. So, and it's, yeah, I'm sure you're very sorry, and I know it's a mistake. So, but it happens, Jenny. I can tell you, Jodie's done it before now. But I'm certain, luckily, Nyasha knows you very well, Jeannie, and I'm pretty certain she knows you would never do that intentionally. And I was a bit surprised because I can't remember Nyasha saying anything that I would mute her for. So it was just like, And then I noticed it kept muting her, and I'm going, something's going on here. Anyway. I'm sorry to laugh, but it's just like, I'm glad I'm not the only person that does things like that. Yeah, I know you've done it, Jodie, and so have I. I did it. By the way, for those of you who are old school, go back a long way, I believe that it is Glenn's birthday today, so we'll wish him a very happy birthday for those of you who remember those days. All right, everybody, so I'm going to get myself out of here, and I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm not going to go out, obviously. I'm being very careful in terms of that. I still want to see my friends, but I'm going to try and stay away from public places and take a small risk rather than a big one. And I will say that all of you have made me very happy this year. I think the greatest gift you've given me is your loyalty and the fact that you keep trying to help one another. That to me is the greatest gift you could possibly give me. And that your understanding that not all of us have the same financial situation or the same, I'm thinking about Nyasha sitting in Trinidad and Tobago, that they might not have all the same things that we have. I think when we can see that compassion, and learn more about where everybody's at. And that's why I'm really quite sad, because I was looking forward to getting updates from Nyasha about what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, or for our viewers that live in Saudi, or our viewers that live in India. It's just like, I would really love to know, how is it going with them? So if you're watching this on the replay, let us know. And we'll keep asking as people come in, because I am just so aware that we are living, in a first world country. And from that perspective, we probably have the best of the best. And it must be really scary for those people who don't. So everybody, have a wonderful week. And we'll see you on Friday when we will get back to our usual schedule. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you so much for being part of my life. Thank you so much for all that you do to make my life so much fun. This is DearMamaSal saying we'll see you in New Year. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Jody.